Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this special um, video today. Sorry, my brain just went blank. What this one is today, I'm going to be reading out the prologue and the first chapter to Mel's amazing transsexual journey, part 1. Now, I'm also going to be using voices and a few little hand gestures and things like that. I can't see the screen, so you see me looking down. I'm looking at my screen, which is where I've got the document written. So I'm going to get started now and have a read of it. And I hope you all decide to go and enjoy at the end of it. So I'll start now. So here we go. Now, I've dedicated this part to every transgender or transsexual who has lost their lives prematurely, either at the hands of others or themselves because the stress got too much. Now the contents are prologue. Chapter 1.1 is the start. Chapter 1.2, first weekend. Chapter 1.3, first week. Chapter 1.4, second week. Chapter 1.5, major dramas. Chapter 1.6, back to being a boy from Mel's father. Chapter 1.7, Sky's birthday. Chapter 1.8, the big date and assault. Chapter 1.9, recovery and tragedy. And that's where I will finish. If you do buy, that's where it will finish to continue for the next one. Chapter 1.10 is Australia in the 1950s to 1970s. That's actually written from my brain because I remember it's stuff that I've remembered. And then we've got the epilogue. So here we go. We've now got the prologue. This story is fiction. I was inspired to write it during my association with another trans girl, Chris, who has no idea about it to my current knowledge. Two trans girls tells the story of our association. I have included some mistakes throughout this story. Please check out the epilogue for more information. There is a reward to the first person who finds them all. I have written this from my point of view and is how I wish my life had been, especially had I had the balls, yes, pun intended, to stand up for my father when I was 9 years young. This story is about a preteen boy's journey to girlhood, and I use a you there, not an I use you, and the groovy friends she meets along the way, but also the nasty people, and there are several violent acts. I do not advise anybody under the age of 18 reading this due to the content. Just because of the violence and all that, there's nothing physical, just the violent parts of it. This is also part 1 of the series, and until part 11, will not have much in the way of any physical acts, as our heroine, Mel, will not turn 18 until part 10 or 11. This story starts in 1974 suburban Australia. It was not a safe place then for those who were perceived as different. I know because I was bullied, tormented, and humiliated because others perceived me to be different. If you'd like to know more about my true story growing up, please go and read my true story, Mark's Not So Groovy Life, or Mark's Pathetic Existence, available on Smashwords. M.A. Seymour is my author name. But again, I have not included everything because it is either too raw for me or upsetting to include. I have revealed many things that I've never told anyone before, either because I forgot about them, or I didn't want anyone to know. Those who know me or think they do will get a shock and realise why I am the way I am or have been. In this novel, I allow you, dear reader, to use your imagination by stopping sections as they get interesting. I also end each part on a cliffhanger, as I've already mentioned with chapter 1.9, to encourage you to buy the next part. Chapter 1.10, as I've already said, has facts about what it was like living in Australia in the 1970s. In some ways it was better, others not. If I could, I would actually combine the good from both sections back in to go back to the 1970s. I do miss that time, but I do like kind of times apart from pandemic that's going on right now. Please be advised this is a continuing series, with each chapter starting with the part number followed by the chapter number. For example, 1.1, the start. Now, 1 is the part number, 0.1 is the chapter number for that particular novel, as you'll find here in a second. I hope you enjoy reading this. I have included my email address at the end for you to contact me. My advice would be to do so, as you'll be included on my database with your permission and be amongst the first to know my next instalment is due out, and to also be kept updated about various things that are going on. I apologise if I'm too detailed with scenes, as I like to give my readers something to picture whilst reading. It also alleviates any misconceptions about future scenes too. Whilst writing, I have imagined each scene from when I was that age. Oh, so I apologise. And every character is based on people from then too. But please be advised, I have not used real names. They are just people from my past, who most I have no idea where they are today. Honestly, some of them, I really don't care where they are. But that's a long story. This is written with how I talk, and Australian talk, spelling and references from the 1950s to 1970s. I mentioned a couple of tragic events, but only minor. Think 1977, January 18th, which is coming up in 2 days' time. That's a very sad day, personally for me. The only real name used is mine, and a close friend who has given me permission to use it, which I've actually now used that as a standalone novel called Lauren's Transsexual Life. There is a taboo subject that even today is still frowned upon, why I don't know, that I do touch on in most parts. I have experienced this in my real life. To Claire Bear's awesome 3 siblings who have reconnected with me, thank you for allowing me back into your lives. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you all. So thank you, JH and GH, and you both know who you are. Please be advised, our main person's male name is Melvin, and female is Melissa, or Mel for short. I hope that alleviates any confusions. Now, let's begin. Melvin was born a boy in May 1965 to 2 genuinely nice parents. Melvin does not remember much of his first few years, does not remember much of his first few years. Melvin also has a sister who is 3 years older. Her name, Sky. Their parents were told they were having a girl, which is why he was called Melvin. They had Melissa chosen. A little about their parents and sister. Melvin's father's name was John. He was born in Australia, 35 at the time, had 2 brothers and a sister. At the time, he was working as a security guard on rotating shifts, which meant he sometimes slept during the day or until mid-morning. He told Melvin when he first met his mother, he knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. Typical Australian male. He was a beer drinker and smoker, something he got from being in the Defence Forces some years before he met Melvin's mum. John is actually, that's my father. That is my father in real life. He loved his police television shows, kept the lawn to mow, and did a lot of the gardening. He also kept the vehicle exceptionally clean, both inside and out. His father was from a Danish background. Mother was born in the United States, actually my second favourite city in the world, which I will never get to. However, her family moved to Australia when she was incredibly young. Melvin doesn't know anything about either family that far back, so those records were destroyed some years before Melvin was born. His father was 5'10" tall, around 170 centimetres in the new measurements. Gorgeous brown hair, green eyes, mid-tan complexion, very masculine. He was a comfort to be around. His family all felt safe around him. Melvin's mother's name was Doris. She was born in Australia, was 32, had 2 sisters and 1 brother. She was closer to her sister-in-law than her sisters. They all had children. Melvin's parents met on a blind date. His mother was working as a nurse. She had moved from her hometown to take a position. Her roommate was dating a friend of Mel's father, and they decided to set them both up together. Melvin's mum's family were typical country folk. Her parents raised her on their farm until her father was fatally injured in a farm accident. I won't go into it. Melvin's grandmother then sold the farm and moved the entire family back into town, where they settled. Melvin's uncle was the oldest and got married to his high school sweetheart when she turned 21, followed by her sisters, then Melvin's parents in 1961. Melvin's mum told him later, when she first met him, didn't like him. She thought he was very arrogant, rude, selfish and self-centered. Typical Australian male. But Melvin's father, I've made a mistake there, did pursue her and she eventually fell in love with him. They married 6 months after they met. She was 5 foot tall, about 150 centimetres, that's just a rough guess. Had jet black hair, hazel eyes, fair complexion. She was a super groovy cook, and in Melvin's words, the best mum. He loved her awesome Yorkshire puddings. Sky was 12, nearly 13 at the time. Again, she was 5 foot tall, but still growing, of course. She had brown hair like their father. Loved makeup, the latest fashion, latest music, being very girly. She also loved her romantic novels and her friends. She also really loved her brother. Melvin found out later how much she was. Melvin was 9 at the time. He was just a kid and looked up to his parents and Sky. Loved playing with his toys. My apologies. He mainly had vehicles and soldiers because of his father's machoism with male. Melvin had to be a boy, and that's growing up for me. I hated it. But for a few months beforehand, Melvin had started to gravitate towards Sky's dolls, but he didn't know why at the time. The only friends he had were Sky and their two next door neighbours, Angie and Danny. You will meet them very soon. Yeah. I would also like to thank the following people: Claire Bear, it's not her real name, for being my first and so far only true love. And I want this on the record to say, I truly regret not following my heart and trying to contact you. I wish I could go back and find you. I wish that I could go back and find you. I was actually lied to about her several times, which is why I regret things. I hope you can forgive me, and I stupidly listened to others. I detail my relationship with Claire Bear, well, as much as I'm prepared to reveal, in Mark's pathetic existence or Mark's not so groovy life, depending on which copy you buy. My best friend of over 30 years, A and K, thank you, you beautiful people, for being there, for being such a support to me over the past few months. Without you, for being there for, I'll go back, I jumped a line. My best friends of over 30 years, A and K, thank you for being there for me during my good and bad times. I know I didn't always say it, but I really did, and I still do appreciate you both so much. Again, thank you. I will always love you both. Thank you to the totally scrumptious and awesome KS, in brackets CKM, that's a personal joke between KS and I. You have been such a support over the past few months. Now, I wrote this 2 years ago. KS passed away over 2 years ago. Without her, I don't know where I would be. Please rest in peace. I miss you so much. To the amazing TH, you have been such an awesome support and shoulder to lean on. Thank you. To the awesome AK in Tassie, who knows who they are, you were one of the first to support me. Thank you. Thank you to the following: LAARNK, MS, RK Senior, AJA, SA, MI, LV, and RV. Yeah. Finally, and least of all, thank you to Chris, brackets JTL. I will always be incredibly grateful to you. Despite what you did to me, I have proof that it's all lies. Please be advised I have changed many names and locations. The only real names are mine and a friend who has allowed me to use it. Any similarities to those living or deceased or real locations, unless stated, are purely coincidental. I used some real locations only because at the time I liked those areas and felt appropriate to mention them. So here we go. Chapter 1.1, the start. I know, boring, but hey, anyway, at least it's something, it's a name. This story starts in 1974, suburban Australia. Late winter. At the time, as I've already said, Melvin is 9 years old. His family had just finished eating tea when their parents asked Sky and Melvin to stay at the table as they needed to tell them something. Melvin's sister and mother cleared the dishes away, came back a few minutes later. Now, in those days, it was where the male went out and did all the work. The female stayed home and did all the female things like housework, cooking, cleaning, washing, everything like that. Growing up for me, that's how it was until the mid-80s for my mother. Melvin's mother and Sky came back a few minutes later. Mel's father said, "We have something to tell you both." Their mum said, "We are going to build another room on the back of the house that one of you is going to use." Melvin asked, "Why?" They both said, "It's because Sky is now going to puberty and needs her own room." Melvin said, "But we both have fun sharing." And they said, "A girl needs her privacy." Melvin said, "I don't want to." Then runs into their bedroom yelling, "I wish I was a girl." Melvin slams the door as he runs in and jumps onto his bed crying. Several minutes later, Sky comes in, grabs some tissues to wipe away his tears. She asks, "Did you mean what you said?" Melvin says, "What do you mean?" She says, "You wish you were a girl." Melvin said, "Yes, if it means sharing with you." Sky says, "Okay, I have an idea. Let's stay here for a few minutes, but get undressed." Then she goes into their bathroom and starts running a bath. Melvin gets undressed and waits for her to come back. After a few minutes, she does and says, "Okay, come with me." They walk into the bathroom where she says, "Okay, can you get into the bath and lie down as far as your chin? I'll be back soon." Melvin lays in the bath. It smells really nice, very feminine. Several minutes later, Sky comes back in naked and gets into the bath behind him. She advises, "I'm going to clean you all over. Then you will clean me." Melvin felt groovy as she was cleaning him with the washcloth. After a while, they swap places. She advises, "Okay, now clean me, but please be careful of a certain area of my body." Melvin asked, "Oh, why is that?" She said, "Because I'm going into puberty. I need to actually change that part, and I'll do that soon." Melvin washed her all over. Then after they were finished, they both got out, dried off. She washed his face and applied moisturiser to it. Did the same thing to herself. Melvin asked, "What's that for?" She says, "It's how us girls look nice and smooth. I will teach you how to be a girl in no time." She then rubbed baby powder on his body and tells him to do the same with her. They hang up their towels and walk into their bedroom. When they get in there, Melvin sees there is a nightie and panties laid out. Melvin asks, "What's going on?" Sky says, "Well, you said you wish you were a girl. So this is the start. I'm your big sister and I will help you." She helped him put the panties on. They felt super groovy, so nice and soft, unlike those rough male briefs he had to wear. She puts the nightie on him. Again, it felt groovy. She gets dressed and says, "Wait here," which he does. He looks in their full-length mirror and he can't believe how feminine he looks. He knew it felt right. Melvin decided that he should think of a more suitable name. Without thinking, thinks of Melissa. From here on in, Melvin will now be called Melissa or Mel unless otherwise noted. However, Sky didn't know, for the past few months, Melvin had been wearing her clothes. She went to the lounge room to talk to their parents. Mel, however, couldn't stop looking in the mirror. The girl looking back at her looked strangely familiar. Looked familiar but strange though, and she started to cry. As she realised the girl in the mirror was her and knew she was a girl. Sky came back in and asked what's wrong. Melissa just hugs her, sobbing, "Thank you. I'm so happy as I know I'm a girl now." She says, Sky says, "Okay, let's go." Melissa asks, "Where?" Sky says, "To say goodnight to Mum and Dad." Melissa, "No, I can't. Not like this." Sky says, "It's okay. I've told them I have a surprise for them." Melissa, "Okay, by the way, I've decided on Melissa or Mel." "Okay, oh, sorry, I've got to stitch you back." Sky says, "Groovy Lives think the same. That's the name I was going to suggest." They went to the lounge room. Sky says, "Okay." Their parents both had their eyes covered. When they uncovered their eyes, they were both amazed. Their mum was smiling, but Mel's father had tears in his eyes. Understandable. Sky went over to him and said, "It's okay, Dad. We're just seeing what we can do about us sharing. But if you don't like it, I can remain a boy." Okay, I've made a mistake there. Sky asked, "What are you going to do?" Mel and Mel's father said, their parents say, "Well, it's up to Mel." Mel asked, "Can I be a girl at night and on weekends?" and decide soon. Their parents say, "Yeah, okay, but can we think about it? For now, you can stay as you are. We'll talk about it in the morning." They both said, "Okay, groovy, groovy." Sky asked, "Can we go to our room now, as I want to get to know my new sister?" They say, "Yes, good night, girls." Mel starts crying. Sky asks, "What's up?" Mel reveals, "I got called a girl." Sky says, "Of course, because you are dressed like one, and you are a girl as well." Mel says, "It's true, but it feels groovy." Sky says, "Okay, well, let's hope you hear that for the rest of your life." Mel agreeing, "Yep, me too." They got into Mel's bed and starts talking. Then Sky asks, "How you feel?" Mel says, "I feel so happy. I hope Mum and Dad let me dress like this when I'm home." Sky says, "Yes, me too. But let's hope it will be full time soon." Mel says, "Yes, I would love that." Sky then excuse me. Sky then drops the bombshell on her, saying, "I have known about your cross dressing for a while now." Mel asks, "How did you know?" "I only worn and saw your clothes." Sky says, "Well, I set you up by checking my clothes if you worn them, and I can smell you on them." Mel says, "Okay, so you have set this up." Sky says, "Yes, but I didn't think Mum and Dad would want to build the extra room so fast, though. So I took advantage of you saying you wish you were a girl." Mel said, "Okay, so what do we do now?" She said, "I will train you to be a girl." Mel says, "Okay, groovy." This is, "Okay, can you sleep with me tonight, please?" Mel said, "Yes." She climbs into Mel's bed and they chat for a while before they both kiss and says, "Good night, sis." Okay, I'm going into a little bit into chapter 1.2. I haven't done the voices. I do apologise. I totally forgot. The next morning, their mum comes into their room and says, "Come on, girls. It's 7 a.m. Time to wake up." "That's sweet. You both sleep together." And starts crying. They ask, "What's wrong?" She says, "Nothing. I'm simply happy I've now got the two girls I wanted. Now, go and have your showers. Us girls are going out shopping today." Mel asks, "Me too?" She says, "Yes, as we're going to buy you new clothes." Mel starts crying. Both their mum and Sky ask, "What's wrong?" Mel says, "Nothing. I'm just so happy I'm a girl. But what about Dad?" Okay, that's the end of that now. I'm just going to leave everything leave there for now. I hope you've all enjoyed that. I know it's a little bit boring, but it's a bit of a taste. Now, The reason why I've done this, I'm going to be offering, as a lot of you probably know, I'm trying to raise the funds for my gender surgery. So what I'm offering is people to pay $5 to attend a meeting like this, where I will read the full novel out. I will change it where I do use more hand gestures and voices and things like that. I'm not happy with the recording, but I will be uploading. Um, but with that money, $4 will go towards 4 different charities. I'll be split 4 ways. $1 will go to my expenses, so the cost of with everything associated with this, um, so I can raise my surgery funds. Because my goal this time next year is to have the money for it. But I also want to help. Once I've had my surgery, I want to help other transgenders. So I actually want to be offering the $5 every week, where people come in, they join the meeting. It will go for about 2 hours. There'll be a Q&A afterwards, so people can actually ask me questions about the novel, or about the reasons why I've included so many people or certain people, or what was my life really like growing up. Because I believe in because my thing is, a lot of people have this thing about transgenders. They have this phobia about transgenders. We're human beings. Everybody is a human being, and we deserve to be treated as a human being. Not everybody, not all of us are prostitutes, drug users, thieves, criminals, whatever. We just want to get out there. We want to be treated like normal human beings, to be allowed to live our lives as the gender we feel. Because gender is not downstairs, it's up here. And that's one thing that really annoys me, is people always ask me, do I have a penis? And I've had that many times. And I've actually been kicked out of the ladies' bathrooms because people say that's only for women that have got vaginas. Well, trans men, and most of the time, are not asked about their genitalia when they use the bathroom. So this is the thing. This is why I want to educate people, because, and this is one thing. So anyway, I do apologise for being boring. I hope you subscribe to my channel. If you would like to know more, please go on to some Smashwords and type in M.A. Seymour in the search bar. You will see all the information there about me. You're quite welcome to buy the novels and have a read of them. What I was reading just now is actually an older version, because I deleted the newer version. Stupid me. Did that recently. I was very tired. But you can read all 11 novels, including Megan and Carrie, which is on pre-sale right now. Or you can just pay the $5 and get the chance to read it, knowing you're going to be helping charity. So anyway, hope you all have a great week. Hope your weekend has been super fantastic. Sorry, super fantabulous. And I look forward to chatting to you all very, very soon. And also, you can also Google Mel's Customized Candles and check out my blog posts on there as well. You can actually read the full e-novel samples that I've got in there completely for free. So which would be fantastic. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks, love you all. Bye.